second to look around. I can feel the smiles, let me break it down. Take it up with computer love. Futureland, the plug, hit you with a buzz.
Awesome and amazing day, you all. Futureland365. It's your girl, Nikki B, right here on WOVU 95.9.
And it's your guy, Just Joseph, and we just wrapped up another amazing episode with my guy, Joshua Edmonds and Jay R. It was phenomenal. You got to tune in. You don't want to miss.
Tune in. Do not want to miss. Peace.
Yeah.
Awesome and amazing day, you all. Welcome to Futureland 365 radio and podcast show, where we spotlight Cleveland's bold innovators, entrepreneurs, and creators. What's up, Just Joseph? It's Nikki B. What's up?
In the building. It's your guy, Just Joseph, and I'm happy to be here today. We got some special guests in the building.
Special guests.
But, we here with Futureland 365, and, we like to talk tech, culture,
entrepreneurs,
art. It's a lot that we discuss.
It's a lot
here,
to talk about. Media, digital stuff, media stuff.
We're going to get a little bit of all that today. So
I'm excited about that.
Topic?
Today's topic, well, I know for sure that we have some amazing guests in the building.
Yeah.
We're actually going to talk about tech for all. Man.
I like that.
That's good, right?
I like that. Yeah, we got to talk about tech.
I've heard that Cleveland could be possibly or was a digital desert.
Yeah.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, well, not anymore.
Oh, wow.
You know what I'm saying?
I guess we'll find out why it isn't anymore.
Bring into the city, you know what I'm saying? But we can't talk about, Futureland without talking about tech. So I think the guests that we got here today are phenomenal at what they do. So without any further ado, let's go right into it.
Let's go into it. So our first guest, we have Mr. Joshua Edmonds. He is the CEO of DigitalC. What's going on, my guy?
Welcome, good brother. Good to see you again, man.
It's great to see you all. Thank you.
Thank you for being here. We appreciate your expertise and everything that you're doing about spreading digital education for us. And then we have the Mr. Jay R Fogul, founder of Lokul TV.
JR, what up?
Let's get it. Let's get it. You know what I mean?
What's up?
Hey, all is well, man. I'm amazing.
I love it. I love to hear it. Love that you're in the building. You all, we're going to go right into this conversation. And we're going to start this off with Mr. Joshua here. Is it okay, Mr. Joshua? Or are you too young, too old for that? I mean, Joshua?
I mean, look, I'm in my 30s now. So
are you though?
I mean, is that Mr.?
That's Mr. That's Mr.
It's whatever you said. So we'll go with Joshua. Is that okay?
That's fine.
Is that fair? Okay, I like that too.
Mr. Edmonds. All right.
Okay. So when we talk about DigitalC, what is DigitalC? Let's go there. Let's start at the basics.
Yeah, DigitalC, we're a nonprofit technology social enterprise. That's a real fancy way of saying that we make impact that is sustainable. And we are oriented towards combating Cleveland's digital divide, primarily through providing home internet access throughout the city. We offer training support for residents who might not know how to navigate the digital world. And then also we are headquartered at the Midtown Tech Hive on 69th and Euclid. And at that location, we provide co-working, collaborative space for entrepreneurs and creatives to take advantage of just a really dope space.
Yeah.
I love that so much. Helping residents navigate the digital world. Wow, that's huge. So how do you all do that?
So it all starts with an internet connection, because we know that if you're not connected at home, then that's home is where the culture starts.
That's true.
That's where we go home to. That's where we wake up to. So if you are going to be empowering a home, that's now an entry point into the broader discussion of digital exploration. And so, one, we believe the equation of success is internet connection plus training equals this exploration that we're talking about. And so when a lot of times our training can be one of two ways. It can be preventative. So how do we prevent someone from doing something online that they don't want to do? How do we protect people online?
Yeah.
And then the other way is like, how do we then take trends that people are seeing, because our residents, whether they're 80 years old or 8 years old, they see what's happening in the world today. They see artificial intelligence. They see deep fakes. They might call it something different, but they see these things.
Right.
And, it's our responsibility that if someone doesn't know what's going on, we had to tell them, because if we don't tell them, then in their head, they came up with this whole other narrative, and trying to reprogram and get people on the right that's even harder. So it's like, how do we, before technology leaves us even further behind, how do we create a baseline of understanding so at the very least we can speak the same language? And essentially, that's what we do at DigitalC.
Yeah, that's very important. Speaking the same language, closing these gaps. And, I hear a lot of talk about the digital divide. And can you briefly explain that to our listeners, what that is and why does that matter to Cleveland?
Yeah, so the term was coined by a brother in the late 90s, Larry Irving. He was working for the Clinton administration, and he said he saw the power of the internet. Again, this is the late 90s. He said, if we don't do something, we are going to have a digital divide, and it is going to further exacerbate existing inequities. And fast forward, Congressman John Lewis, the late Congressman John Lewis, he had said that the digital divide is a civil rights issue of our time.
Wow.
Access to information is vital. It's crucial. Whether that's going to inform you on decisions on where you're going to live, benefits enrollment, workforce, you want a job, a resume, or whatever, those who have access to the internet and know how to navigate it and those who don't, there's going to be a stark difference in their quality of life. Stark difference in their health care, stark difference in even the exposure that they would have to ensure that their generations have the information needed to compete. Yeah. The world is becoming even more competitive every single day. New skills, new certifications, new pathways of understanding, new technologies emerging. And if you don't have that grounding and that footing in technology, not only will you be left behind, but your children, your relatives, your circle, it's up to all of us to ensure that we can advance together. And if there's a broken link anywhere, we are all going to feel its effects.
Man, that's some good information right there. And I think that's so needed for what we're trying to promote, especially here at Futureland, and we're going to have all of the people who, understand this come to the table. So you talked a lot about, digital inequity and, what is that? You kind of answered it a little bit, but what does that look like today in terms of Cleveland? Where do we see this inequity happening right now?
So there was a term that was used in the past that some people don't like when we say it, but I'll say it. Digital redlining was a thing. And in many cases, it still is a thing.
Well, hold on, brother. Now, what is that?
I got it. I got it.
Break it down now. Hold on now.
So it's
professional people. Don't worry about it.
I'm slow, but I'm worth waiting on.
So the previous concept of redlining was when banks were approving loans to live in certain communities and then denying loans to live in other communities. So quite literally, they were forcing people to live in certain places that the conditions might not have been ideal. And then at the same time, it would be layered in a way where they would invest in certain communities. And so those same communities that we've seen historic disinvestment in within Cleveland and across the country. It doesn't matter what city you want to go to. You can go to Detroit, you can go to Baltimore, you can go to Cleveland, you can lump them all together. That same redlining and those same maps, you can overlay the historic maps that show the lack of infrastructure and show the lack of people having high-speed internet. There are certain communities that we're in, neighborhoods in Cleveland that we see to this day that when we're serving them, their options are incredibly limited. Wow. They don't really have choice. They can't afford what's being given to them. They have been redlined. Wow. And when we redline someone digitally, especially when it's a parent and they have kids in this house, okay, now what is that attitude towards technology that's being passed down? And so now you have people where ceilings are being created where they don't need to be. You have kids who who literally could be the next CEO of DigitalC or the next CEO of Apple, who is now being limited simply because of where they live, simply because of their address. And that's what we're seeking to counter. We have been calling ourselves historically at DigitalC, we're a digital greenlining organization.
I love it.
Where these other folks decided to redline and cut corners and building out these networks, we said, no, we're going to build something for everybody.
So what are some of the success stories or major milestones that DigitalC has achieved?
So we, in January of 2024, we started construction of a new network. To date, we have over 100,000 homes covered in the city of Cleveland.
Did you say 100,000?
Over 100,000.
Oh man, you gotta drop the bombs on that.
Hey man, hey, you right? Hey. Come on now, come on now.
Don't play with him, Jay. Don't play with him.
You know, and that coverage is incredibly significant because this starts in 2023. We had received a contract, and we said by June of 2025 that we would have this city covered with our internet. And the fact that we are doing that, that's a beautiful thing to be able to stand on your word and deliver in a city that has historically been one of the least connected cities in America. Man, delivering on that.
Come on, talk that talk. Talk that talk.
That's amazing.
In addition to that, another milestone, we said last year that we were going to train 7,500 residents. Again, the training is a huge thing. We trained 7,618. And being able to engage with that many Clevelanders, seeing all walks of life, setting up things at the food bank, setting up things at the library. I mean, we are in the neighborhoods when we do this stuff, and engaging people that way, that's facilitating that trust. We are going to need trust, and it's a value that we say we progress at the speed of trust. So if they're able to trust us, then we can progress in their digital acumen that they're gonna build up. The bigger milestone, though, that matters is we've been able to enroll over 3,000 households in our internet program. The reason why that's significant is because at one point we were at zero. January of 2024, we were at zero.
Wow.
And so here I'm sitting in front of you all today, and it's February 2025, and we're closing in on north of 3,500 homes. Like that's I can't stress how important that is. And we're not just connecting people who live in the greatest, most upcoming areas in Cleveland. Like, no, we are connecting people. The stipulation is people who never had internet before or people who are on some form of a discount. And so it's not like we're, again, connecting the people in the high rises and the penthouses. Like, no, we're going to the places where we've seen the greatest disparities, and we're bringing the best technology.
Wow.
That's awesome. That's it. That's a really great question, and a response to that. That's huge. 3,000. That's so important. I know a lot of those individuals who did not have a connection and had no idea how they were going to be able to get Wi-Fi or apply for that job and things like that. So with that being said, what does tech accessibility and how does that impact Cleveland's economy?
So when we're looking at tech accessibility, again, we're looking at a home internet connection. We're not looking at someone who's using their cell phone at home and saying, oh, I got internet. I got my cell phone at home. No, we're looking for a home internet connection. We're looking for a device that enables that connection. So ideally, it would be a computer. Secondary to that would be a laptop. Tertiary would be a cell phone. So for people who only have that cell phone, no. We need that home internet connection. We need that computer, and then we also need that training, that acumen. Now, some people have what's called, they're functionally digitally literate, meaning they know how to work Instagram or TikTok, but they can't create a resume. So that's one of those things where it's like, no, we back to the basics. Everybody, we had to have the same fundamentals. One band, one sound, we got to move as one. And when we don't move that way, you have what we have now where, again, some people are really good at one thing. I know Facebook because I'm on it all the time. Cool, okay, but I need you to enroll in your benefits. I don't know how to do that. So then I'm going to go without. Like that's what we got to break that down. And so even when we start talking about entrepreneurship, start talking about people who have products that are great products that are being developed, but who's the consumer if a third of your residents here don't have a stable internet connection? Like, we are shooting ourselves in the foot. The digital divide is strangling so much more opportunity in this city. So even when you have internet, great, everyone in this room has internet. But if we're living in a city where a third of us don't, we're all still going to be impacted by it. Your product will not be as successful here.
Wow, that's huge. That's so important to know, because I was also reading that in certain communities that not only with the being illiterate with tech and things like that, but also with reading.
Yeah.
Right. So if that is an issue, if you're only able to navigate social media, but you're not able to navigate a resume, let alone put together a sentence to create that resume, we do have a problem. So kudos to you and your organization and your team for being boots on the ground, engaging with the community and those residents, and finding what those gaps are to make sure that we bridge those gaps to reach back for the youth as well as our older individuals, right? Because we do have to care for them as well. They're still very functionable, very spicy, and want to shop online too, right? And do things as well. Or they want to do Instacart. I don't mean do the Instacart. I mean, they don't want to go to the grocery store.
Right.
They want someone to shop for them as well. So for them to be able to do those things, they have to be able to have that internet connection like you're talking about. So kudos to you and doing that. And Jay, we have not forgot about you. No, we're going to get right to you, my guy. But you know what, you all? I think we need to slow things down a little bit. So we'll be right back, you all. Welcome back to Futureland365 podcast and radio show, where we talk bold innovators, entrepreneurs, and creators.
We back,
and we're back.
A great conversation with my guy Joshua and my guy JR. Man, how y'all feeling right now?
Alive.
Amazing.
Yeah,
okay, alive and amazing. I like both of those. Yeah, I'll take those too.
And while we listen to, with Joshua, the amazing work that's happening over here at DigitalC, but we got to bring it to you, JR, as well, and the amazing work, y'all are working on together and how y'all are collaborating. And that's the beautiful thing about what we're promoting here at Futureland is the collaborations that's happening around the city. And how have you seen impact from that? Yeah, either one of y'all can take that.
Man, honestly, the impact has been great. Just showing the younger generation as well as my generation that there is an opportunity to learn more about tech, learn more about things that you may not know about, right, in a different manner. So even us coming together was really like saying, hey, listen, there's an opportunity to put tech at the forefront and just say, if you have any interest in these type of things, then show up here and we're going to give you the information. Most of the time it's for free. I'm working on that part, but
for the free is for the majority. We'll say that.
When you pay attention though. But
that's another conversation, exactly. I guess. Yes.
But the reality of it is that Cleveland can be a tech hub, but what does that look like, right? And I mean, I'm an African American male, so my main thing is there weren't really many tech influencers or people that look like me doing the things that I was interested in. So, we do have to kind of promote it in a different way just because we are who we are. So it's like, no, it's okay to come here. It's a good vibe. It's like, we kick it, but we also educate. We also, like to learn. So, it's been a great ride, man.
Yeah, I've got to witness it firsthand, seeing y'all in action and just loving the amazing, spaces that you're creating.
You was there for barbecue night too.
Yeah,
barbecue night. Dang, I must have
plate he left out with, brother. We better talk about that.
A whole rack of ribs.
Really? This is what we doing?
Joseph is always eating something. I promise. Before we start the show, but after we start the show,
he couldn't even dap me up when he was walking away. He hit me with the elbow. Got sauce all over the
sound
place.
Effects now. But back
to
you, Joshua. Like, what is your perspective on that and the collaborations and the amazing things that you've gotten to witness, even with Futureland at the helm of this?
Yeah, for people always ask us what the C stands for in DigitalC, and I always say that it starts with community. So, all right, community. Someone could say connection, internet provider, maybe, but collaboration is one of those too. And when we're collaborating with a community-oriented partner who has the ability to connect, come on. I'm in the studio. I mean,
bad. Okay.
but like seeing that authentic mix together, that's the blend that we need to be doing more of that. We need to be exporting that outside of our organizations, outside of our existing networks, and continuously build. And I think JR brings a unique energy that it's inviting, and it works well when the stage is set, when the environment is set for networking to ensue. And when we say networking, sometimes like I've seen networking when it's just, hey, a group of people in a room. This isn't what we're doing. This is meant to be intentional. This is meant to be something that, like, hey, you are getting value. There's an exchange for time for value. Now that value is going to be up to you. Like, whatever you want to put into it, fine. You have an idea and you're sitting on it. Bring that idea. And if you're going to be like, no, I don't want them to steal my idea. Trust me, no one's out here trying to steal that stuff. Like, execute.
Not like you do. I'll say that. Not that they don't
Yeah.
care. They don't care about your idea the way that you do. So share that thing.
That's right.
Collaborate and create and just do it. Really.
That's right.
I think that's so important. Yes, it's important sometimes to keep things here and to keep it in a bubble for a little bit. But at some point, you have to share and get it. Bubbles pop at some point, right? So you have to share that idea. But okay, here's another thing: you have to have discernment about it. So
we're not telling you. I mean, if you know you got that idea, like you saw Facebook before it's Facebook, like all right.
Well, the thing is oftentimes you'll have these great minds who aren't used to being surrounded by other great minds. So what they'll do is they'll cower into the corner, right? They'll get very quiet. And when we say, networking done different is we make you network. It's like, nah, bro, like, what's up? What's your name? I learn everybody's name as soon as they come in first and foremost. So Joe, come here real quick. They're not used to actually being put on the spot in a cool way, where it's like, nobody's trying to make fun of you. We want to bring you in on the conversation and let you know that you're a part of this.
Yeah, that's big.
So, we've had plenty of people who may not even look like us, but they're in this room full of people, African Americans who are receptive to you. It's like, yo, we're welcoming. It's like, yo, nah, bro. We all do this thing and we can leverage each other if done right. It's weird though.
But and there's an element of it because there's a lot of introverted people in just anywhere. And the thing that we did, we're like, all right, we know the introverts can be social and they desperately do want human connection too. How do we then break down the barrier and make it so that they're comfortable? So it's like, all right, so every table we have, there's prompts on it. And so when we're networking, talk about the prompt. Yeah. So now everyone has an objective. Yeah. So for all the people who are afraid of small talk, we took care of that for you. That's good. we try to be so intentional through and through to ensure that not only will there be value, but we're allowing people to show up with their best self and assisting them into that. Because we know that there's just some geniuses who might be limited by the fact of, I don't want to walk in that room and I don't know anybody. So I'm just going to stay home today.
That's good.
That's so good.
That's good.
Yeah.
We appreciate that.
That's amazing that you all have created and cultivated such a collaborative and networking space. Yeah, safe space. I love that.
Safe space to create. Bars.
We love that.
Got him back.
I think that's when he's trying to tell you he needs a sound bar. Yeah.
Come on now. Thank you.
There you go. Okay.
These are self-promoting bars.
I know, right?
You can't call bars in your own bars.
Somebody
was dropping a bomb for me.
That's okay. I can read a room.
I love it. So shifting to you, JR, man, what I like about you, man, you're not afraid to go out to different places and see what is going on at different cities, and I've even seen, I think we've been at some different events outside of the state, and saw each other there. So I love that, and also you got your hands in a lot of things, whether it's the tech, the producing, and just behind the scenes. But I kind of want to hear a little bit about how you got started, man, and how you got going. Like it's a lot to you, man.
Yo, why's he acting like we're on video?
Maybe we are. That's okay. It's okay.
Listen, my bad. I like to have fun.
No, we love it too.
No, you know what? It's important to kind of get out of your comfort zone. And, being in different environments, different cities, states, and networking, you learn very fast that, oh, okay, we're built different here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, we were just talking about that, right?
it's a different energy that that people from Cleveland have. All right, whatever. No, it's a different energy that we have. So when we're out of town, we display that energy, and I love it, man. I'm lightweight addicted to it, just because like people can tell that, oh, there's something different about that dude, and it ain't like on no like weird stuff. It's just like he moving different. He working the room, and I feel like I'm a master networking because I'm not afraid to shoot my shot either. It's like I think I seen you. It was like first time we met. I'm like, hey man. I got an idea for you. But if you don't never shoot your shot, you can never hit it.
Yeah, that's good.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I love it. And I see what the city can be. You know, like we have a great start, but sometimes we have to get out of the market to actually see what it looks like when it's done right. Yeah. So we can actually duplicate that process.
Right. So when it comes to, you know, you're talking about duplicating a process, did you have a blueprint, or how did Lokul TV, how did that come about?
Oh, because people kept telling me no.
Telling you no? What do you mean no?
Yeah,
no,
I'm like,
what?
I'm built a little bit different than everybody else. So you tell me no, I'm going to figure it out.
They said, no, you cannot create an app, or you can't create a TV or a channel or anything like that. Is that what they were saying no to?
To create content. And I'm like, all right, well, I want to do this. I want to do a movie. I already write plays. We've done plays. We've had plays downtown. Now I want to take it to another level. So it's like at every intersection, whenever somebody gives me pushback or they try to be a gatekeeper, it's like, all right, bet. I'm a contractor. I'm a general contractor myself. Don't worry about it. I'll build my own gate. You know what I'm saying? Or I'll build a pick to pick your lot. You know what I'm saying? So I look at it that way. And with the TV network, I was reaching out to people, and I'm like, hey, listen, I see you got this going on, but how about we make it bigger, and we take on a Tubi, or we take on, you know, a Netflix in our own way. Everybody was like, you know, they didn't want to do it. They had so much respect for Tubi and all this stuff. All right, bet. Well, I'll just build it my own. And I built it myself.
I love that. And, you know, with building that, now I think we're getting into a local app, right? So how do you help people build apps, and how did you get into that industry or that space? And was it accidental? Was it something you were like, you know what, I'm going to do this? How did that come about? So local app, tell people about that as well. All
right, so I'll make a long story extremely short. I built my first app in 2010 after working in cell phone stores, and I saw what the future was going to be. At that time, we had Blackberries, Palm Trios, and phones that just no longer exist anymore.
Jay, did you have a Blackberry?
No, I had that Razor. You remember that Razor?
Come on, man.
Yeah, I had that too, but I had a Blackberry too.
But the Razor now, like if you look at the features, it had nothing to offer. It just died. It was just a skinny phone, right? But I realized very early that apps were going to be the way of the future. So I built my first app. I went to Tri-C and took a coding course to learn Python. I learned Python, figured out some things. Then I reached out to a couple friends.
Python, you're talking over my head.
Oh, it's a coding language.
Is that like the basic? It sounds like it's basic, or
learn Python. They didn't call it basic.
Basic. No, basic in the coding world. That's what I mean.
So for coders, you have JavaScript, you have HTML, you have just different coding languages that you can actually like learn.
You know, slow down for the girls.
Not a problem.
Not the girls, but the people like me. I would say that.
Okay.
The laymen like me who
really
do not code at all.
Entertaining. But once I figured that out, I'm like, all right, cool. But this was 2010, mind you, and people weren't really ready for it. At this time, I was also doing nightlife photography. So
you were. Wow. I remember those days.
So what I would do is instead of giving people their pictures, I would be like, hey, download this app, and then you could get your pictures off of here. So I'm out, and I'm trying to explain something to you, and they're like, a what? Where do I get it from? And MySpace and Facebook were really like the only two apps that we really like would download independently at that time. And I'm like, damn, I'm way too early on this. Fast forward, 2019. I created Lokul, and it started off as a Black business directory. We've evolved, and now we've combined Lokul with Lokul TV, and we've created a TV network that has a community aspect. So imagine watching a show, and then you're able to have a conversation about that show in one place.
Oh my goodness.
That's pretty cool.
That's actually really cool. And I've actually downloaded the app and used the app, and I've engaged in the community. I've even watched a couple of things on there as well. So kudos to you. I think that's amazing. And that's exactly, you know, what we talk about and who we highlight, innovators, right? People who did not have a blueprint, but said, you know what? I'm going to create a blueprint and shade and get this grid and figure this thing out myself. So before my brain explodes, you all, Joseph, what do you think? I think we should, let's take a little break because
we'll be right back.
That's too much, you all. We'll be right back.
All
right, you all, and welcome back to Futureland365 radio podcast and radio show. It's your girl Nikki B in the building,
and it's your guy Joseph.
And I'm super excited to be right back, talking back with Mr. Jay R Fogul about his app, the Lokul app, right?
Yes,
Lokul TV app. Do I say it correctly?
Lokul. Yep,
Just local. It's local. You know, it's local. With a K, not a C.
Are you local?
Am I local?
There you go.
Joseph, are you local?
There you go.
Yeah, I'm a little local.
Are you local? Are you down?
Facts. That's our slogan.
So, you know, we took a little break because my brain was like, overload. So I want to know, JR, when it came to the development of the app, how did that come about? I don't even know what question to ask with that, because I know there's a lot that goes into that.
So originally, like, I did it from scratch. Then I brought on a partner who had way more coding experience than I did. And in the process of converting Lokul into like this conglomerate where you have Lokul TV plus the community, we've stumbled upon another opportunity, which was, you know what? We can actually open this up for entrepreneurs to leverage our technology for their business services, right? So we're like, all right, well, what does that look like? So we built out another platform, which is 123 Apps, APPZ, where now entrepreneurs can actually like log on to our platform and build their own app. So it's like we took all the knowledge that we've had and the lumps that we took, and we said, all right, cool, we're going to combine all these dope features where no matter what you do, if you want to start your own delivery service, you can do that. If you want to, just have one for your restaurant, you can do that. So we have a DIY service or we have a done-for-you service. And now we're opening up the market. So, our ultimate goal was to democratize it. So it gives everybody a fair shot to do something dope.
Okay.
So
that's pretty cool. So to me, it sounds, I don't know, I could be wrong, but it sounds like you created a version of, you know how in the art stores when they have the model cars? So is that pretty much what that is? Yeah. Okay, look at me. I'm right on track there.
Get it.
Here. So those who are not familiar, if you're like me, that's the equivalent to what JR and his partner and resources have done. They created an app for us, or they'll help us create our own app for our business. And it sounds like if you have a business, it sounds like you probably need to have an app. Does that sound about right?
In 2025, you definitely need to have an app. If the TikTok thing didn't scare you as an entrepreneur, then maybe you should just shut down and go home.
Listen,
because the reality is if you don't have your own platform to provide your own goods and services to those people who support you, you're doing them a disservice and yourself.
Wow. That's something Miss Sharita Carthon was talking about a little bit ago. When she was saying you need to have your own platform. If you don't, if TikTok and all that did not scare you, then listen.
That's really good. So I got kind of like a two-part question for you, JR. The first one is like, what is your advice for upcoming, people who want to enter into this space? Like, where could they go to get, educated? What would you recommend to them? And also, what resources are available out here?
So first and foremost, I would say network. Go to these networking events. You know what I'm saying? Find like-minded people that you get along with and that you could pick, right? But who knows? You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all might collab and say, you know what? I'm not as good as doing this as you are. So how about you come in and you do that thing, I do what I do, and we figure out how we can build this thing up. That's my first thing, because entrepreneurship can get very lonely. You know what I mean?
It does.
When you get around
draining.
But when you get around dope people, then you're able to actually like combine superpowers and become a lot stronger.
Yeah.
With our powers combined. You guys remember that?
Come on now.
Okay.
Come on now. You see where I was going with it. It was an alley-oop. You caught it. So that's the first thing I would say. But then I would also say reach out to, the DigitalCs of the world. And just go get in rooms, man. Like, YouTube University is always a good resource.
Yes.
Facts.
Right, Joseph?
But if you would like to, work with someone hands-on, all you got to do is text the word local, LOKUL, to 33777.
Say it one more time. I don't think they heard you.
Text the word local, LOKUL, to 33777, and you can schedule a call that way. And, that's also how you get on our event list.
Nice.
So as we have events, we send out a text blast, an email blast, and all that stuff. So
you don't have to really do a lot of work.
Come on, we keep it simple.
Keep it in your thumbs, and it goes right out. I love that so much. That's amazing. I love that.
I love that too. So you talked a lot about, networking and connecting with other people in that space and like-minded individuals. Is there a place that people can go? You know what I'm saying?
I'm glad you asked that, Joseph. Why, yes, there is.
I like to throw lives too. You know what I do, man.
So every first Saturday, we're at DigitalC, from which is at 6815 Euclid Avenue in Cleveland, Ohio, from 11 to about like 4.
Nice.
So we do a brunch and learn, where it's like, we have different speakers coming out to teach about different things. Last month we had someone come out, teach you how to get your taxes right, your business taxes right, and go into the new year with a clear conscience. So, we have just dope people coming out to share their expertise with entrepreneurs, but we're also like showing you that this is what this type of community looks like, because now that person that was coming out teaching about this is coming out next month to watch. You see what I'm saying? So,
yes.
But we have to build it, right?
It's it sounds like it's a revolving community.
Yeah.
So it's a full community that's always not only pouring out but receiving as well. Because I've heard this, I don't know if you all have heard this as well. If you're the smartest person in the room, you need to leave.
Hey, you're in the wrong room.
You're in the wrong room. So I think that's great. And so Jay, the future of tech in Cleveland.
Yeah, gotta talk about it.
Yeah, we have to talk about that. So where do you see that, and what are your thoughts there?
Y'all
it sounds like
viral,
there's a lot. There's a lot of thoughts there.
We have to, I feel like the opportunities are there for the city to really like take the reins and expand it. I love what I'm doing, right? However, I'm also aware that there's another level that I haven't reached yet. And there's people who are doing like some crazy dope stuff. Now we just need to we need to pull those people in too, right? Because now I need to know like who's doing the higher tier, higher quality things, and not being so welcoming to mediocrity. So it's like we can get like,
y'all, he's stepping on y'all toes too.
Hey, listen, I don't care if I step on toes, because I mean the truth is the truth, right? It's like
that is the truth.
There's popular people doing some mediocre things. And it's like, all right, cool. But if you never raising the bar, then we just are going to keep having the bar here.
Listen.
It's like, no, I want to be around dope people that's, constantly challenging themselves to do dope stuff. Yes, local TV is cool today, but if I don't change what I'm doing by this time next year, then somebody else is going to come up and do something doper. So I'm constantly like looking for that next thing and that next challenge. So Cleveland as a whole, if you're that next creative, look at the landscape, find the gaps, exploit the gaps, because that's where your opportunity for growth, expansion, monetization comes in at. But if we're always just cool with just getting in line, then we're going to have a problem.
Yeah, that's awesome. Huge. So, okay, you're saying that though, right? So how do we embrace, or how do we move in excellence within the tech industry, within your industry? I know you're saying, connect with those individuals, but on a smaller level, on a more granular level, how do we do that?
You know what? We support people. You know what I'm saying? Like when you find the damnedest things when you go out and support people, because then you go and you find other people who are supportive, and then you find yourself in these rooms and that energy. Like, you ever go to an event and you can't go to sleep when you get home?
Because you're on fire.
Listen.
Me and Alicia were talking about that a couple weeks ago. Like, dang, now I can't go to sleep now because I'm so fueled. I'm in the room with these creatives and these entrepreneurs. Like, how are they doing it? Oh, my God. And that's so true.
That's what happens when God meets you in that room.
Do the thing that gives you energy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
If it drains you,
we're gonna have to
you got to walk away.
Yeah, sure.
You have to surrender and walk away.
Yeah, you do.
And that takes it to a whole nother level.
Whew.
You know what I'm saying? So
Jesus.
When you surround yourself with, supportive people, and you're going into these rooms and being that supportive person, because some of us don't have people that come out to just support you.
Right.
No, that's facts.
So you have to start supporting other people, so those people then become the ones that support you.
There it is, man. That's how you effectively create the change and the shift in the culture that we're looking for. And that's why Futureland is so important. And that's why we bring into you live Futureland365 show and podcast.
That's a bar too. That this is what he do.
That's what I do.
And let me salute y'all too, because also, like, y'all came together to do something dope, right? You know what I mean? So a lot can change in a year.
Yeah.
A lot can change. You feel me? Yeah.
Oh, y'all got handshakes? Okay,
we official.
We official.
But that's what it looks like. You know what I'm saying? Getting in those rooms, networking, and all that stuff, it pays off.
And furthermore too, and to tap in to what you're talking about too, saying yes. Not being afraid, right? Being uncomfortable and saying yes, because when you're uncomfortable, that means you're being stretched. That means that you're going to be infused with that same level of excellence for you that those individuals have as well. So, man, kudos to you, JR, for creating those spaces, especially at Mid-Tech. I always
Midtown Tech High.
Thank you. I get it. I mix it.
Teamwork, help the dream work.
I need to come more often. I would say that for sure. I've been maybe once or twice, but not that often. But I think that's a huge opportunity for individuals. If you are an introvert like myself, I know it's hard to believe you all. I know. It's okay though.
Definitely hard to believe.
It's hard to believe, but yes, I'm an introvert, and I really don't like small talk. So I love what Joseph was talking about when he said that those prompts and those things are right there to keep you engaged and make sure that you stay focused and very intentional. I think that's so important, to be intentional when you're having a networking and creative event, because sometimes at creatives we be all over the place.
So I just want to shout out our guests today, man, Joshua and JR, the phenomenal work they doing. They definitely deserve a huge round of applause.
Round of applause.
Everything that you are doing. So it's major work, and we're proud of y'all and happy to have y'all part of Futureland. So we discussed some really good things today.
Man, we had some really good conversations.
What were your biggest takeaways?
Oh, okay. I'm glad you asked. So one of my favorite things is what Joseph was talking about. Joshua. Oh my gosh.
I'm about to
right?
say, I was like,
I let it ride the first time.
That's my guy right there, Joseph. He would get me together, you all, with love. So Joshua. Now I'm about to say Joshua. You all, okay, have some grace here. When he was talking about people ask him all the time, what does the C stand for? I'm like, yes, that's a great question. What does the C stand for? So when he was talking about collaborating, that's huge for me because it proves what their mission is and what they do all the time. 3,000 people in their program from zero. That means they had boots on the ground and they were moving and shaking. And one thing that JR was talking about too is I'm really just impressed with him and in awe that he created this app and had no idea. And he was like, 10 years ahead of it from creating it and sharing it with people. So I'm in awe of your genius with that. So those are the two things that I would say were my two takeaways. What about you, Jay?
Yeah, no, absolutely right in line with what you're saying. Just it's amazing to hear about all the amazing work that DigitalC is doing specifically in closing the gaps and that digital divide, and just hearing this, just the from redlining the things that's happened in the past and now how it's being corrected, and that they're in the forefront of doing that here in the city, and it's a beautiful and much needed thing to see.
Absolutely.
Especially when we talk about having a thriving tech hub. You can't have that without being connected, and so that's a key word that we're hearing, from collaborating, connectivity, to being creative. I'm gonna keep going with the
go ahead with the C's in.
Collaboration.
So
he's a rapper too, y'all. You didn't know?
In the community.
So, but I just love what's happening here, and to see all these brilliant minds coming together, because that's how you really start to see change, when we collab instead of working in isolation. So those were my biggest takeaways, and I do want to leave our listeners with this as well too, to invest in Futureland, to invest in Cleveland, to invest in even yourself, taking yourself seriously and showing up to these different events and just being present. I didn't know the first time Futureland had a conference, and then just showing up and being in the room and getting introduced to people, and now to be here hosting with the amazing Nikki B. Like, who would have ever thought?
Just Joseph. Oh my goodness.
Who would have ever thought?
Who would have thought?
But it literally started with me saying, let me go see what our city has to offer, and being willing to be present in the rooms, and that's what JR was speaking to as well. So this was an amazing show.
This was a great show.
Yeah.
I'm so full right now. You all. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe with our IG page, our Facebook, our
X.
On X, I always forget about X, you all. So, and also on futurelandcle.com. And don't forget to subscribe to the newsletter. Go ahead and drop your email there.
Yeah, that's all you got to do. And
you'll
then you can
always be updated with all of
informed.
the up-to-date events that are coming up, because there's always something with the creatives. So you all, that's it. That's all right here. Futureland365 radio and podcast show, where we spotlight Cleveland's bold innovators, entrepreneurs, and creatives. Your girl, Nikki B.
And it's your guy, Just Joseph.
Peace.
Until next time.
Moving on, Moving on, Futureland, what's up? Yeah.